Hello again, Trism for the win here. I'm going to be doing another adaptation review, this time of Season 3 of The Walking Dead. So yeah, this is where I talk about the original source material of like a book or something, and then talk about the movie or TV show adaptation, and then talk about some of the changes that were made, and what worked and didn't, and stuff like that. So yeah, this time, Season 3 of The Walking Dead. So yeah, major spoilers for both the comic book series and the season 3 of The Walking Dead, as always. Yeah. So, season 2 ends on such a high note. Really cool last episode, really gets you excited for season 3, and it shows the prisons. You're like, yes! Season 3, they're gonna go to the prison, it's gonna be awesome. And season 3 starts, and I think they mention the first episode takes place 8 months after season 2. And this is why, one of the first reason of many why season 3 is really stupid. 8 months of zombie apocalypse goes by and nothing happens. Absolutely nothing. No one dies. No one gets bit. Nothing. But as soon as the show starts, stuff happens. The break between season 1 and 2 was like maybe a week or something. But it's not 8 months. 8 months is a long time. A lot of things happen in 8 months, especially when, as soon as the show starts, maybe like a month goes by in season 3, and a lot happens. So how could that not happen? Also, for 8 months they're like, oh, we've been going all around this area, we've never found any, good place to stay or anything, and then they find the prison. But at the end of season 2, it showed the prison was right there. It was, right next to them. So how could they not find it? Season 3 hasn't even started. I haven't even started talking about it. I'm already, pissed off. Season 3 is really poorly executed. It's not only is it really stupid, but it doesn't... It's not good. It's so annoying. I really hate Season 3. So I'm going to try to minimize the stuff that I talk about, because otherwise I'll just talk for hours. So yeah. The main problems with Season 3, in general, is that the themes and stuff, it's kind of there, but it's just, they've gone so far from the source material that now when they're trying to bring ideas back, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work with the characters that they have at the time. At this point, they should have a bunch of main characters, but they really don't. Rick, Andrea, Dale, Glenn, Maggie, Herschel, what's his face, Tyrese, characters, yeah, Carol, and Lori. Those are probably the main ones, more or less. And then you got, Carl and Sophia and other characters like that. But those ones are pretty important. Now, we don't have Dale anymore. He's gone. Andrea is not with the group for no reason. Tyrese doesn't exist. And, yeah. Then, so... it starts to not work. We see early on, what's his name? Herschel gets his foot bitten, and then they have to chop off his leg, and it's well, wait a minute, that happened to Alan, who's not even in the show, and Dale, who's dead. It's oh, well, we just wanted to have, someone get their leg chopped off, and, they start doing these things where it's no, it's not close, that doesn't count. They start, using all these ideas, it doesn't work really that well. Like, it's friggin' annoying because, okay, for one reason, they're at the prison for a while, and like, it's like, oh yeah, we should get like some farming and stuff going, and they have a lot of food and things like that, and they're like, oh, we have to find food, and like all these like bullshit problems. It's like the prison is good, like this is good, but they don't show a lot of, oh yeah, look, we have like showers and things like that. It's like, oh no, zombies. This life sucks. And like, it just doesn't work. Like, I don't know exactly how the okay. So one of the things that completely ruins this season is when they Woodbury and the governor really hate what they did. So Andrea and Michonne are chilling out because that's how they decided to do it. And then they go to they find Woodbury. I guess it's Woodbury, I don't even know. Anyways, find the governor, and and it's like, oh yeah, he seems like a nice guy, but something might be up. What? And Michonne's like, oh yeah, I think something's up with the governor, I don't trust this place, and it's like, yeah, she's right, listen to Michonne. But, see, in books, when they first get to Woodbury, it's like, whoa, they got like a really nice thing going here. They got like a whole city and stuff, and it's like, yeah, the governor seems like pretty reasonable, but it feels like something's up, and then something becomes up. It's like, oh, by the way, we're gonna put you in this arena, and you're gonna have to fight each other, and like stuff like that. And then it's like, oh, by the way, I chopped your hand off. Sucks for you. And like the governor is this total douchebag. He's completely evil, and it's ridiculous. Like, I'm just gonna go over a lot of things he does in the comics. It's scary. So it's like Rick, Michonne, Glenn. I think that's it. I'm pretty sure that's it. So it's just the three of them. They go to Woodbury. Rick gets his hand cut off by the governor because the governor's like such an asshole. Michonne like fights in their arena, which they do show in the show for like in the TV show for like a few seconds, and then like then okay, so the main stuff is with Michonne and the governor. It's done so well because Michonne's just like, screw you, and he's like, no, you have to listen to me because I'm evil and stuff, and then Michonne just is like, and it's so great for both their character development. Like, not really with the governor because he's just like completely evil, but with Michonne partially because she fights in the arena and she like just kills a guy, and it's like, and then governor's like, no, that didn't work, and then like ties her up and beats and rapes her, and it's like, whoa, that's really dark. And governor's like, he's such an asshole. It's ridiculous. It's like, there's nothing he does. He's good or anything. It doesn't seem like he's like crazy. It's not like he's unstable or something. Just like, he's just a complete asshole. Like, he's just evil. There's no good or anything in him. And after a while reading the comics, you're like, this guy needs to die. Like, it's one of the only characters where I felt that they need to die. Like, seriously, I'm like, someone needs to kill this guy. Like, it's ridiculous, and it's like, frig, why are like friggin' die? And then a little bit after that, Michonne like mutilates him, and because she's like, you fucked me up, so yeah, this is what I'm gonna destroy you. I'm gonna like cause as much pain as you did to me, type thing. I'm not explaining it that well, but she like chops his arm off and like pulls his eye out and basically almost kills him, but he barely survives and comes back later. In the show, the TV show, this is done horribly because like all that happens really is Michonne's like, oh, I don't trust this place, I'm gonna leave, and then she leaves. Andrea's like, oh, this is the best place ever, and then for no apparent reason, Andrea has like a relationship with the governor. It's like, why? Doesn't need to happen. And then, like completely random, nothing like that ever happened in the comics. Then Michonne comes back eventually, kills the governor's daughter, which also is just kind of thrown in there, like they have the heads and the tanks and stuff, and it's cool, but it's cool to see it. It's just it doesn't feel like they were doing it because like it just feels like, oh, this was in the book, so let's put it in here. It's like it doesn't feel like the governor legitimately set that up, because like a bunch of this season they're like, oh, the governor is really evil. I'm like, no, he's not. He's actually kind of a nice guy for some reason. Like they make him out to be this kind of nice guy who just kind of loses it a little bit. Like by the end of the season, he's kind of crazy and just kills like all his men and stuff. And it's like, but that's not really the governor. The governor is just evil. He just does not care for anyone. And like in the show, it's like, oh, he was a nice guy, but then because of the apocalypse, he like started to lose some of the sense, and now he's kind of like an asshole a little bit, not whole. He still has a nice heart. There's still good in him. It's like, fuck, like stupid show. Like what the hell? Like when Michonne kills Governor's daughter, and then he like then he's like, oh no, and they have like a fight, and it's like, oh no, and then she knocks over a fish tank and stabs his eye with glass, and then gets away scot free, and the governor's like, oh, my eye, you ruined my life. Oh, like it's nothing. It's like so big deal. Like his eyeball's gone in the in the comics. She just used a spoon. Like it was a spoon. Like I don't even know how to like say what I'm thinking. It's just too bad. Like season 3 is so bad. My God, I can't even describe all the things wrong with this season. So some other stuff that's going on. Laurie's pregnant. We all know that, and then she has her baby. And then she dies, like right there, and Carl kills her, and it's kind of cool, a little bit. It's also kind of like, and like, I don't know. I guess they're trying to like make up for how he didn't kill Shane, so he has to put down his mom. It's pretty well handled, except I don't care. Like, I just don't, like, I just, like, like, all the stuff that happens, I really just don't care about most of the characters and stuff. It's kind of annoying because I want to care. Like, season 2 is so good, and it gets you excited for season 3, and then just don't care. Like Michonne, fantastic character in the comics. Like she's a badass and stuff, but she's also a person. And then in the show, what do? oh, they make her the strong, silent type because oh, she's a badass, so she doesn't say anything. She doesn't say anything. Like they ask her a question, it's like, "What's your name?" She's like, "It's like you can talk. You have that ability. You could say things like answer. You could say your name like at least like freaking idiot. Like why aren't you talking? It's annoying." And like the show talks to people. She like in the books, she's just comes to the prison, just kind of shows up. She's like, "Can I stay here? I don't want to be in the zombie apocalypse." They're like, "All right, fine. We're gonna lock you cell at night. We're gonna take your sword." And she's like, "That's totally fine. I just don't want to be in the apocalypse." And so they do that for a while before they can trust her, and it's awesome. So good work. Like but then the show is not. It's just she's just like, oh, I'm a badass, so I don't say anything. It's like ah. Another thing that happens is Merle's finally back, which I think kind of works a little bit in some ways because we knew he was eventually going to come back because he got his hand cut off. I was just kind of wondering, like, is he ever coming back? So they put him with Woodbury. That kind of makes sense, I guess. A couple other characters that like I'm so confused by. At first, I thought it was Doctor Stevens, the just random, not a too important character, but it's just basically the doctor that like fixes Rick's hand and stuff. And then he eventually tries to come back to the prison with Rick's group, but then he doesn't make it. Um, so then, uh, what was I gonna? Oh shoot! Yeah. So then there's this random guy like Milton or something. I don't even know. First I thought he was Doctor Stevens, but he's not. He's just some guy. He's like the governor's consultant or whatever, and he doesn't really do anything. He's just kind of there, and yeah, he's pretty useless. They also make Woodbury not like this. Oh, it looks nice on the outside, but it's got like a dark secrets or whatever. Like they try and show that kind of, but for most of it, it's like, oh, it's just a nice community that happens to have the governor who's kind of an asshole running it. But even like the governor's not really that evil, so it's not even that big a thing. Like, oh my gosh. So yeah, Woodbury is it's fine. Like most of the people there are like nice, except for like Martinez or yeah, Martin. I don't even know. Anyways, he's kind of in the comics for a little bit, but yeah, he seems to have a human personality and the like a realistic personality in the comics, but in the show they just kind of make him oh he's just like one of the henchmen for what's this for the governor. It's like okay, you could have done something with him, but that's fine because show's an idiot. And okay, so one of the other things, Rick, yeah, so after Lori dies, Rick goes a little crazy. They show the phone. The part at the end of that one episode, I liked that where it's like the phone rings and he's like, "Hello," and that's really well done. The comics, this part is really really cool. It takes place just after the prison, which is kind of interesting that they're using these ideas from after the prison when the prison has so much stuff that happens in it. They don't really need to use any ideas from later on. Um, but anyways, he's talking to this person on the phone. In the comic, it's great because you don't hear her voice. Obviously, he knows it's a woman, but he doesn't know who it is. And then at one point, he's like, "Oh, I don't even know your name," or something. And then the voice is like, "Rick, it's me, Lori." And he's like, because Lori's dead at that point, and it's like, "Oh, cool, plot twist. Rick's insane and stuff," and it's like awesome. In the TV show, at first it's like pretty obvious that he's insane because he's like, "Hello," and like things like that, and like apparently I wasn't really. Apparently, he talks to like other people that he knew that were dead. Like I think he talks to Shane at one point and stuff like that, and then eventually he talks to Lori, and that's when he realizes that he's crazy. But it, it's not as cool as like I think they could do it some way where they don't like they have Lori speaking but not as herself, almost like you see from Carl's perspective. Like in the book, it's just Rick and Carl at that point, and Carl never talks to the person on the phone. He just sees Rick talking to her. Like, he doesn't even hear the phone ring, but Rick does. And it's kind of cool. You could do it like that, where Rick's just having like a one-hand conversation. He's like, "Oh, hi. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Cool. Talk to you later," or whatever. Like, I don't know, that's a bad example, but it doesn't have to be, you don't have to hear them speak. Like, he's like, it could just be like, "Oh, come on, you gotta let us, like, go to the thing." "Oh, no, really, we want to go there, we're nice people." It's like, "I've told you, like, everything about us, I don't even know your name." And then it could show, then it could have the voice go in, and you could do things like that. It doesn't have to be like that. Like, then they take it a step further. It's like Rick's even crazier because he's seeing Lori, and she's clearly not there, and he even knows that too. And it's like, this isn't really necessary. It's like, it's just all these, like, a bunch of the stuff that happens, and it doesn't do anything. Oh, T-Dog finally dies, and that was awesome. I'm like, yes. So I'll give you points for that. A little points for killing off T-Dog. Okay, here's something that's really stupid that they do. They get, like, automatic weapons randomly. They had a few rifles from Season 2. Then they go to the prison. I'm pretty sure they found the, like, weapons of prison, but, like, prison weapons aren't really going to be semi-automatic rifle, like, machine guns and stuff, and, like, in the books, they basically just find like a few rifles and stuff. They don't find like full automatic weapons, and they do this stupid movie thing also where it's like they're in a heated battle and they're like shooting up each other and no one gets shot. Like, oh, I hate those. There's a couple of kind of cool parts like near the very beginning of the season where they find the prisoners and like the one guy who they don't explain him at all, but you kind of like right away when they find these prisoners in the books, it's realistic. They're like, "Well, what are you guys in here for?" Like, and the one guy's like, "Oh, I just stole something." It's like, "Oh, I'm in here for murder," but that's just between me and my wife or whatever, and and like this other guy, "Oh, I'm just here for tax fraud," and then it turns out he's like a insane psychopath, and that's a cool part in the book that they could have definitely used for the season. But it's like, it's just this one guy who happens to this one guy this one prisoner who happens to have a gun because I think he said he got it from a cop, and he's like kind of aggressive a little bit, not a whole lot, and you kind of get the feeling that he's a murderer, that he's in there for murder. They never say that, so it's not like, oh yeah, he's in there for murder. It's like he could be in there for murder. But anyways, Rick, like, he almost pushes someone to a zombie or something like that, so Rick's just like, "Oh yeah, I totally get that was an accident." Like, just chops his head with a machete. With the machete, which is another problem, because Rick should be using his hatchet. Also, yeah, Rick just straight up, like, murders somebody. It's like, okay, that's cool. Is it necessary to be that violent? He could have probably helped you a little bit. I don't know. Could have just locked him up. Like, you're in a jail. These things. And then, yeah, then this other guy, he just kind of locks in a room full of zombies and is like, "Ah, deal with that, sucker." Like, you don't need to be such an asshole, Rick. Like, you're supposed to be relatable. You're supposed to kind of be like the person that we want to be during the apocalypse, like the hero that we wish we could be, kind of thing. Always doing the right thing, or at least what he thinks the right thing is. But killing people isn't usually the right thing to do, even when they are, like, prisoners, not necessarily good people. But like I think they even point out, like, compared to yourself, that's like not even that bad. And yeah, it's like the characters stop becoming likable, and like that sucks because you want to like these characters, and it's annoying. Um, yeah, like there's just certain decisions and things that Rick does where it's like that's just stupid. Like I don't care. Why would you? I don't even care. Like half the season, I'm like I don't even care. Like I just got through this basically for the review. Otherwise, I wouldn't even watch it. Like I really don't want to watch season 4, even though that is coming out this weekend. So yay! I don't really want to watch it. So sorry. I may watch it after it's out. I don't know, but I really don't want to. It looks like crap. Like, okay, so yeah, let's talk a little bit more about the climax of the season. So this whole season, they're building up. Oh, we're going to war, and like, we have to fight the other group of people because we can't get along. And Andrea, who for no apparent reason is like the middle person, is like, no, we can't. We can live together and be fine and not fight. And they're building up this like, oh, it's gonna be like a huge battle and like everyone's gonna die and stuff. And they do somewhat the same thing in the comics. However, it's not. It doesn't. It's not as sudden and like they're at the prison for such a long time that it's like only maybe the second half that they meet Woodbury, that they come in contact with Woodbury. So the first half is just kind of like them living, trying to survive type thing, and then the second half is like stuff with Woodbury, and it's really cool. But they make that almost the entire season. So the entire season they're building up. Oh, they're gonna fight. It's gonna be this huge war and stuff. And in the comics, that happens. Woodbury people come to the prison with tanks and stuff, and they kill like half the characters. Like Herschel, all his people, they're all gone, and stuff like that. Uh, and like the only ones like Laurie, that's where Laurie dies. Okay, here's a side note. So they have the baby. What's his name? Judith or the girl, the baby girl, Judith, and some stuff there is kind of cool. Like I like how Daryl is with the baby. Daryl's still pretty well done as a character, so at least you can get something. At least you can get the stuff you made up right. Show. Um, but like everyone takes care of this baby except for Rick. It's his baby, even though it is technically Shane's. He is the only living parent that could be a parent at all left, and like he maybe holds the baby like twice, maybe twice in the entire season. It's just mostly Herschel's one daughter that I forget her name because they only said it once and they never said it again. They say every other character's name many, many times, but the one daughter who's not Maggie, they barely mention. So I don't remember her name. I'm sorry, but they don't say it in the show, so I can't recall it. So that's just stupid stuff. Like Rick's with the baby, and you care about it, and then it dies. Like it's dark. It's like, oh, that sucks. And yeah, at the very end of what almost feels like a season finale, when Woodbury people with the governor like destroy everyone at the camp, and the only ones left are like Rick, Carl, Michonne, and then like Dale, Andrea, Maggie, Glenn, and Sophia, and two twins that they have. Okay, also they do introduce Tyrese at one point, but it's not. It's almost the Tyrese that could happen. I don't know. I don't even know exactly. He does have a hammer, so that's kind of cool. He is with Alan and Donna, who are just thrown in there. They're not really like their characters in the book. They're the ones who have the baby, or not the baby, the twin boys. But in the show, they're just kind of there. They're just kind of with Tyrese. But it's kind of cool to see Tyrese finally. Like, oh my gosh, like he's the main character, but not in the show. So he's there for a while. He just kind of does some stuff. Like, he ends up in the prison, and then they, like, kick him out. And it's like, why did you even introduce him? It's like, you're preparing for this huge battle. You need people to help you not die. Alright, so they build up this huge battle that's gonna happen for, like, the entire season. And, so then, yeah, the governor comes in with just, like, one truck of people. Not a huge version of... It's like, okay, well... Yeah, he's still attacking. And then they, like, shoot up all the zombies that are in the way. And they, like, bust into the prison. They're, like, trying to find everyone. And then... This is a huge battle. So... This battle is huge and, like, kills everyone. Like, a whole bunch of characters in the, books, in the comics, is decreased to them shooting up some zombies, the bad guys shooting up some zombies, then looking around in the prison like, oh, where are they? And then some, like, firecrackers go off and they're like, oh no! And then they run out, they all retreat from the prison and leave. Like, that's it. That's it. That's the whole battle. That's the whole battle that is built up this entire season. The only other thing that happens is the governor's like, why are you retreating, idiots? I'm like, yeah, why? There was, like, some firecrackers and you left. And they're like, we don't really want to fight. And then he's like, well, screw you. And he, like, shoots all of them. It's like, okay, there goes your army, idiot. And then it's like, you see the governor kind of reacting to it. He's like, or whatever. And it's like, he's kind of crazy. Wait, he shouldn't really be crazy. He should be evil. That's the problem. It's just... Okay, so yeah, the governor's just... He's kind of loses it by the end, but he's not really evil. And... Stupid! Yeah, one part I need to double check in the books. I can't remember. I thought I remember someone figuring out that, hey, wait a minute, you just shot some, like, in the books, the comics, one of the Woodbury people was just like, hey, governor, you asshole, you just shot some woman carrying a baby, why would you do that? And he's like, what? I didn't do that. And then the, like, Woodbury people, like, turn on him and shoot him, and, like, he dies. I remember him dying, I think, like, at the end of the prison, at the end of the time that they have the prison. But I don't know for sure if that happened. So, sorry if that didn't happen, but I remember that more or less happening. Anyways, that's basically the end of the governor in the comics. He doesn't show up later. But yeah, like, he's still around fine in the TV show. And then, like, they go to Woodbury, they get all the people, and, like, all the people who aren't fighting, and bring them to the prison. Like, it's such a strange ending. It's like, the bad guy's not really defeated, he just doesn't have any army anymore. He has, like, 2 guys now. He could still come there and kill quite a few people. Like, he could still do stuff. It's like, he goes back to Woodbury, hey, where'd all my people go? And stuff. Like, I don't know. And just... A lot of the stuff in Season 3 doesn't feel like The Walking Dead anymore. It feels like a TV show. And, like, in Season 2, not all the time, but sometimes it'd be like, something would happen, and then the episode would end, and you'd have to watch the next one. And it's very, oh, you gotta watch the entire season, and then just kind of, just like, these are just different... Like, it's fine when you watch just the entire season at once type thing, because it flows way better than if you watch, just an episode and then wait a week and stuff like that. Like, Season 3 feels very, very episodic, and it's like, it doesn't really need to be because it's The Walking Dead. It's supposed to be like, just the continuing story. The story just continues every episode. It doesn't, like, it's not like you could just watch, like, an episode and it have a beginning, middle, end type thing. So, that's stupid. However, I am going to talk a little bit about one episode, which is, what is it called? Like Safe or something. But it's a really well done episode, and I wish the rest of the season could be like it. I still have a couple problems with the episode, but it's really cool. So yeah, obviously it's completely episodic. Like it's when the beginning of the episode starts, and then the end of the episode. Like the beginning of the episode, it's Rick, Michonne, and Carl. They leave, and then the end of the episode they come back. So it's obviously just for that episode. But there's some really cool stuff in it. They go. I can't remember exactly what they're trying to find. But anyways, they're basically where they're basically back in Rick's hometown, and they come across Morgan from the first season, who we see again, and it's cool because he does eventually show up in the comics again, and yeah, and I like they showed that yeah, Dwayne, his son, he's gone, he was bit and died, and that cool, and like Morgan like totally like flipped out and built this crazy like hideout, and it's really cool. It's a really well done episode. It feels like The Walking Dead. We see a lot of Michonne doing stuff and talking. That's so yeah. Her character is good in this episode. Uh, Carl does some cool stuff in this episode, and Rick does good stuff in this. And it's well put together and stuff. So good work episode. Other than that, the show kind of sucks now in season 3. Other than that one episode, the rest of the season's pretty good. So, I mean, pretty bad. I don't know why I said good. So that's the only high note. And obviously by this point, it's not really like the comics at all. And yeah, like, almost all the characters are fine at the end of the season. So, like, what was the point of all this, like, big, oh, everyone's gonna die and stuff like that? And they didn't, so, nah. This has been a long video with this because I really hate this season. So I think that's basically everything. Yeah, Walking Dead Season 3, don't watch it, it sucks. Read the comics, they're fantastic. Watch Season 2, then stop. So, yeah, I think some of the writers might be different for Season 3, I don't even know. But it's just partially because they're trying to use stuff from the comics when they've already established their own, they're trying to do two things at the same time. They're trying to do the comic story and their own story at the same time, and it's just not working anymore. Oh, okay. Another thing I heard about the governor, it's like in one of the novels that Robert Kirkman wrote, apparently it talks about how the governor in the TV show is like the real governor's brother and how he ended up killing him or something. But it's like, that's just making up an origin story because the character is so different than the book. Like, they even call him Philip. It's like, no, he's the governor. Like, like this character is such a unique character and stuff, but then they like didn't do it right in the show, so it's like they come up with a backstory that makes sense. It's like, oh, he's not the real governor, but the real one's dead, so we get almost governor. So it's like what's even the point? Like, it's so stupid. Okay, I'm gonna basically stop now. Yeah, season 3 not well done. Like, I'm fine with it becoming its own story, but if they're gonna do that, then do that. Don't keep going back to ideas from the comic books if you're not gonna do them well, or do them right, or do them like they're supposed to be done. Like, stupid show. Okay, I'm basically done now. Thank you for watching. I hope you have read the comics because they're really good. And don't watch the show. I don't watch season 4 unless it's, yeah. Tell me if it's any good. Oh, also comment and tell me what other adaptations you want me to do next. Thank you for watching. I'm done now. Bye.